Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Shonda Harris. I'm a business opportunity specialist with the Columbus Small Business Administration, the SBA. We are grateful that you joined us for today's session. Today's webinar training is focused on doing business with the Ohio Department of Transportation, better known as ODOT, and the DBE certification. So actually this entire month, we are focused on certifications. So if you joined us last Thursday, we had a session focused on the certifications with the state of Ohio. Today is with ODOT, and then next week it'll be federal certifications. So we are always grateful to be able to bring these webinars to you as a result of our wonderful partnership with the Ohio University PTAC, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. So we recognize that as small businesses, you're interested in doing business with the government, and this may be, for some of you, your first time, and so you're just learning. Some of you may be seasoned professionals, and you may have been doing this for a few years, but we always like to add and build onto your skill set. So just as you're navigating into the waters of government contracting, there are different levels: federal, state, city, county. And so sometimes it can get a little confusing. So we just like to always bring topics to help you on your government contracting journey. So today, again, we are going to be focusing on highlighting the Ohio Department of Transportation and the DBE certification. With that, again, we are grateful to have our partners, PTAC, alongside with us presenting today. So we want to have them share to give an overview of who they are and what they do. They're an excellent resource as you are on your government contracting journey. If you want to learn how to do business, what you need to do, how you need to register as a vendor. So with that, we are going to turn it over to Jane Stewart, who is going to give us an overview of the PTAC program.
Thank you, Shonda. Let me just pull up my presentation here. It's just a very, very short one. So good morning, everybody. Jane Stewart. I'm with the Ohio PTAC. My office is located in Lake County at Lakeland Community College, and I cover the northeast corner of the state. PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Our sole mission in life is to help companies with their government contract efforts. We are funded by the Department of Defense and the Ohio Department of Development, as well as our local hosts, mine being Ohio University, and all of our PTAC services are free. We are prepaid with your tax dollars. So how do we do that? We can help on the federal, state, and local government levels. We can assist with certifications. The SBA has various certification programs, as does the state of Ohio and ODOT, which you're going to learn all about today. We can help with the SAM registration. SAM is the absolute requirement for entering the government contracting marketplace. We can help with capability statements. A capability statement is a one-page resume of your company: who you are, what you do, how you do it, and why a government agency should purchase from you. We have a bid matching program where we can put together a list of keywords that represent what your company offers. You'll receive that information on a daily basis. Then when you find an opportunity of interest, we can help you with the bid process or proposal development. We can help with marketing. If a GSA schedule is a fit for your company, we can help with that. Basically, anything that you need, we can try to provide. There are PTACs all across the country. We have 15 procurement professionals right here in Ohio, and there are over 300 across the country. Here are the websites that you can go to find your local PTAC office. Here's my contact information. If you have trouble reaching out to or locating your local PTAC, please feel free to let me know, and I'd be happy to help you with that. And with that, back to you, Shonda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane. It is, we're just always grateful to work with PTAC. So as a small business, please take advantage of your local PTAC. They are a tremendous resource to help you, as I said, navigate your journey. As you're growing your capacity, you may be doing business at the local or state, then you want to start doing business at the federal level, or if you're just getting started, they can help you at any part of your journey.
Yep.
So,
and we're also here for comic relief. So.
And for comic relief, if you joined us and you heard us telling a few jokes before we got started, we have been doing that. So a few housekeeping things before we actually introduce our speakers. Today's session will be recorded. It is being recorded now. So what will happen is that recording will be posted on the Ohio University PTAC's website. And that link will be, so we'll actually have Jane put that link in the chat now and toward the end so that you can access that going forward. Also, the slides will be, once you are on the PTAC website, the slides will be available through a link at the bottom of their website. So you can always go back and reference it. So we would like to ask, because today's session is going to be very interactive, full of lots of information. If you do have a question, we do want you to ask that, but we ask that you type it into the chat, and we'll be monitoring the chat, and then we will pose the question to the presenter and make sure we get that question answered. You can do that all throughout the presentation. All right, so with that, let me go and I will read our presenter's bio. We are grateful to have Lynn Stevens today, who is the administrator of the Office of Outreach within the Division of Opportunity, Diversity, and Inclusion at the Ohio Department of Transportation, also known as ODOT. This division is dedicated to increasing diversity and inclusion opportunities for all stakeholders, including those seeking to do business with the department and those who seek employment with the department. Lynn leads ODI's statewide outreach efforts with a team of 4 regional outreach managers. Prior to becoming an administrator, Lynn served 6 years as ODOT's regional outreach manager for Central and Southeast Ohio. And in this role, Lynn managed outreach efforts in ODOT's districts 5, 6, and 10, and served as a liaison for stakeholders seeking to do business with ODOT. Then prior to joining ODOT, Lynn served as the Director of Minority Affairs at the Office of the Governor, John Kasich, where she served as a liaison to Ohio's minority and ethnic community. And prior to that, Lynn served 12 years as a community relations coordinator in the office of former U.S. Senator George Fornovich. She was a liaison to the minority community as well as to children and family organizations throughout Ohio. Lynn has also served as a constituent liaison for the office of U.S. Representative Steve Shabbat in Cincinnati, where she helped constituents with bureaucratic red tape and resolve problems they were experiencing with federal agencies. Lynn is a graduate of the University of Cincinnati with a master's degree and a bachelor's degree in international affairs and political science. Lynn is married and has 2 young children. So without further ado, we would like to welcome Lynn Stevens. We're grateful to work with her. We worked with her for several years. Take it away, Lynn.
All right, thank you. Do you see the PowerPoint title slide on the screen?
Yes.
I think
okay.
so.
Right.
Yes.
It says DBE
Okay.
certification.
It says doing business with ODOT. Okay, great. All righty. And I also wanted to ask my colleague, Lorraine Stevens, just to say hi and introduce herself as well. Would you just like to say a few remarks, please, Lorraine? If you're
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Lynn. So again, my name is Lorraine Stevens. I'm the Regional Outreach Manager
for districts 5, 6, and 10. I'm replacing Lynn's role, so very excited. I will be placing my contact information in the chat. If anyone wants to get a hold of me after this, feel free. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lorraine. All righty. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us here today. We appreciate it. And today we'll just talk a little bit about our ODOT, ODI division, the DBE certification, doing business with ODOT, the various ways you can do business with ODOT, the bipartisan infrastructure laws, touching on that, how it could benefit Ohio. And then we'll just give you some more updates and ways to stay in contact with us here at the ODI division. This box here. As you know, ODOT is responsible for maintaining our state's infrastructure, highway infrastructure system, so the federal highways and the state routes. And our mission is to provide easy movement of people and goods from place to place. To do that, we'll take care of what we have, make our system work better, improve safety, and enhance capacity. As a more than $3 billion per year enterprise, ODOT invests the bulk of its resources in system preservation through maintenance, construction, snow and ice operations. So anything related to maintaining our freeways, as you know, clearing the snow off during the winter season, maintaining lighting, maintaining rest stops, making sure the potholes are filled, resurfacing, repairing bridges, culverts, anything related to that is ODOT's responsibility. And we are with the Division of Opportunity, Diversity, and Inclusion, myself and Lorraine, and we're a relatively new division at ODOT. We were established in 2015, and started staffing primarily in 2016. But we have 3 offices. Our mission is to increase the diverse pool of businesses who get contracting opportunities with ODOT, and to help increase the diverse pool of applicants who apply for our job vacancies. So ODI division has 3 offices: the Office of Business and Economic Opportunity, led by Deborah Green. And they handle all things related to our DBE and SBE certification. DBE is Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and SBE is Small Business Enterprise. All things related to reporting to the USDOT about our DBE program. They set goals on all our projects for DBE percentages, EDGE percentages, goals, and which projects will have those goals. They determine that. DBE supportive services is capacity service to help build capacity for DBE certified companies to help them improve their service and obtain opportunities with ODOT, contracting opportunities. And then we have the on-the-job training program as well with that division, with that office. And our Office of Civil Rights Compliance is our second office, led by KT LaPlace, and they handle all things related to fulfilling the USDOT requirements on federally funded transportation projects here in Ohio. So that entails monitoring and prevailing wage, certified payroll, commercially useful function, the ADA issues in Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And then we have the Office of Outreach, where I am administrator, and we have a team of 4 outreach managers, Lorraine Stevens being one, in each segment of the state. But we are here as a resource for businesses who are looking to do business with ODOT, who are currently doing business with ODOT. And we hold webinars, workshops, events, and join events with our partner agencies like we are doing today with the SBA to share information about ODOT. And then we also are helping to monitor the workforce diversity and inclusion goals, female and minority goals for our construction projects. We have goals set by the U.S. Department of Labor, so we are helping to monitor the contractors' progress towards meeting those workforce goals. And here's a map of how we divide up the state and each of the outreach managers. So you've met Lorraine Stevens in Central and Southeast Ohio, and we have Lair Markham in Northeast Ohio, ODOT districts 4, 11, and 12, and Michelle Newman. She's our newest team member, all of about 2 weeks here, almost 3. And she handles Northwest Ohio, districts 1, 2, and 3. And we have Jane Scales for Southwest Ohio, handling districts 7, 8, and 9. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you're in our particular region, if any questions in the future, and you'll get a copy of this PowerPoint, as Shonda said, so that you can have our contact information. Thanks. DBE certification. Again, disadvantaged business enterprise. ODOT's DBE program. So we have an overall DBE goal of 15.6 for our annual goal. We try to reach 15.6 participation of DBEs on our projects each year. And so we have highways, bridges, engineering, consultant services. Those are some of the main categories where we will have DBE participation. We have developmental goals for those who are engineering firms. They get mentoring from larger consultants and help them improve their service on our projects. And in FY federal fiscal year 20, DBEs were awarded $104 million in federal funds. Prime contractors made $83 million in commitments to DBEs, and the DBEs received $21 million as prime contractors on our projects in FY federal fiscal year 20. Sorry, and just to let you know who qualifies for disadvantaged business enterprise certification, we have members. You have to be socially disadvantaged, and so the socially disadvantaged groups are women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, Asian Pacific Americans, subcontinent Asian Pacific Americans. And if you're not a member of this presumed socially disadvantaged class, you can apply for DBE certification, but you have to show and provide proof that you are socially disadvantaged. And DBE certification. So when you do receive DBE certification, not only can you work on ODOT projects, but you can also work on projects that are led by the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, FTA, Federal Transit Administration, and then FHWA, that's USDOT or ODOT. So City of Cincinnati, local public agencies, City of Cincinnati, Hamilton County, or other cities and counties, they receive federal funding as well for their state routes and county roads. So they will have DBE goals on their projects. So there are a source as well, local projects for DBE participation. Our transit systems throughout the state, Coda Metro, Dayton RTA, rules transit systems as well. They have DBE goals, and airports as well throughout the state. And when you are DBE certified by your home state, you can do business in other states that you're interested in being a DBE. You just go through an interstate certification process. Just a little bit about the process. Let's see. Socially and economically disadvantaged owners, and the disadvantaged owner must hold at least 51% ownership in the DBE firm, and then the owner must manage and control the DBE applicant firm. It can't be a subsidiary of another larger company. It has to be independent business, and it has to be managed and controlled by that socially disadvantaged owner. The DBE application firm, we use the SBA size standards as far as determining if you're small for your industry. It varies by industry. So we use the SBA standards. And then for economically disadvantaged, the threshold is you cannot exceed 26.29 million in annual sales or 3-year average of gross receipts to qualify for DBE certification. So it's a pretty high bar there. And then another financial threshold you have to meet is personal net worth. All of your assets, excluding your primary residence, needs to be under 1.32 million. Here's a link to our application on our website. There's 3 parts to the application: the actual uniform certification application, the personal net worth statement, and the NAICS code descriptor form. So you can request which service, the code for the service that you want to provide. Let's see. So at our Ohio UCP, you will find our information for the DBE certification. So I wanted to take you there for a moment here. Is you should have okay. So we're under the Know Your Programs tab on the ODOT website here. So this is our Ohio Unified Certification Program, where you will find the application and the other 2 documents. So at the block here, UCP application, you can click on there, and then you'll see Ohio firms, out-of-state firms, troubleshooting. So Ohio firms, just follow this tab. If you're an out-of-state firm, you would follow the other tab, different instructions. So you could download the application, scroll down a little bit. You can download the application from here as well, the personal net worth statement, and the descriptor request form. So just to let you know, give you a little bit of visual there. And so once you complete the application, which can be uploaded online, or you can print it all out, fill it out, and send it in the mail, or you can meet with one of the outreach managers in person. They can go over the documents and turn them in for you. So just a few ways to be able to get that application to our certification team. They're located in Columbus. And when all the required documents are submitted, the next step is for our intake specialist to go over it, review it, make sure everything's there. And if there's anything missing, our intake specialist will send the email letting you know which documents are missing. And then once you return those in, then the application will be assigned to an analyst to perform a desk review. And then the analyst will look at the application again, make sure everything is there. And if there's anything else that the analyst needs at that time, you'll get another email from the analyst asking you for some additional information. If everything is complete and all the information is there, then the analyst will contact you to schedule an on-site visit to your place of business. If you have a home office, that's fine, but we need to come see and make sure you are a real business and have space and equipment, and you are running the business yourself. And then after the on-site visit, it may take a couple weeks or so for the certification decision to be issued. Let's see, we have 30 days timeline for when the initial application is received from our intake specialist to review it and let you know if the application is complete or not. And then it doesn't usually take that long, but with COVID, it is taking close to 30 days. And then after that first set of review, then the analysts have another 30 days to contact you about setting up the site visit. And then after that site visit, again, it takes about usually 2 weeks. So the whole process can take up to 90 days, all these steps. And again, with COVID, it's been closer to 100, 120 days. But just to give you an idea of the time frame that it takes to get DBE sort of applications finalized, approved. And any additional information can be requested at the time of the application process. And let's see. When you're certified, your certification does not expire. However, you do need to submit annually your tax returns and an annual declaration form. And this just helps ODOT to determine that you're still under the financial thresholds of the 26.29 million per year and the 1.32 million for personal net worth. So that is required every year. And if you don't provide it, then your certification can lapse. And you will have to go through the whole process again to become DBE certified if you let the certification lapse. And
Lynn, you
then,
have a question.
okay.
Would you need to be a physical location to qualify? I'm a mobile notary, so I don't have a brick and mortar office, but hope to have one.
Okay, and you maybe don't have a home office either. And for usually there's like a home office at least where people are doing their business. But so hopefully you have at least just a space in your home that you're operating out of, and that is sufficient. But we need some location, some indication, somewhere to look and make sure that you are operating a business.
So they can have a home office?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Shirley, let us know if that doesn't answer your question. Thank you, Lynn.
Oh, sure. And this is interstate certification again. Once you're certified by your home state of Ohio, you can be certified in other states. And the certification process is not as long. You don't have to do the whole entire application over. Usually you have to have a copy of your original application that you submitted in your home state, and any of the annual notices, annual declaration notices that you've completed, any notice of changes that you've completed throughout your time being DBE certified. So that makes up the interstate application, just documents that you've already should have on file. ACDBE is just another certification, a type of DBE certification for those who want to do business in an airport. And so businesses conducting one of the more following activities, even if it does not maintain an office, store, or business location on an airport. But if you're in these categories, you can qualify for ACDBE management contracts and subcontracts, a web-based or electronic business in a terminal or which passengers can access at the terminal, an advertising business that provides advertising displays, and a business that provides goods and services to a concessionaire or a store or a vendor in the airport. And then they have a little bit higher average income that they can have, 56.42 million per year, or three-year average of gross receipts for the ACDBE firms. And then it says the following types of businesses have size standards that differ as well. So banks and institutions, they can have up to 1 billion. Car rental companies have 75.23 million threshold. Paid telephones, they can have up to 1,500 employees, and automobile dealers can have 350 employees. So if you apply for ACDBE, it's on page 5 of the application. If you are not applying for ACDBE, you don't have to complete the ACDBE portion.
Okay, we have a follow-on to the question about the home-based business. Yes, but to continue the question about the home-based business, would your home office need to be listed on your documents? In parentheses, husband is in a public occupation, so we use a PO box.
Yeah, you can use a PO box as your like mailing address, but ODOT does need to have a physical address on record in our system. So the PO box is fine, absolutely, for your mailing address, but again, we need a physical location, again, just to show that you actually have a business and are operating a business. So your home office is fine, your home is fine. So hopefully, if that doesn't answer your question, feel free to chime back in.
There's another question.
Okay.
What if your business 1-year application is not until May? Are you still eligible? And also, I live in Ohio, but I'm from New Jersey. I would like to do business in other states. Ohio is my residence. I'm a practicing junior engineer.
Okay, well, DBE certification does not have a time limit, so you don't have to be in business for a year or a month, or you can become a business certified by the Secretary of State's office, on Monday, and you can start applying for DBE certification on, Tuesday, the next day. The key is you have to have experience in the area or the service that you want to be DBE certified in. So even though you may not have had the business around for a year, a month, 6 months, you do have to show that you've done that work prior and that you have the experience and expertise to do that work. And for New Jersey versus Ohio, wherever you consider your home state, I think you said you're a resident of Ohio, so that would be your home state where your residency is. And for your New Jersey, you would apply for interstate certification with New Jersey's DOT, and New Jersey is going to ask you to be certified in your home state first, and then they will let you know the documentation that's required to apply in New Jersey.
Okay. A couple of certification qualification questions. Does ODOT recognize service disabled veteran-owned small businesses as a qualifier for DBE?
Veterans is not a category for DBE, so you have to fall into one of the other socially disadvantaged. So it's ethnicity based. We know the state of Ohio has that VBE certification, veteran friendly business enterprise certification. But yeah, veterans is not a category for DBE, unfortunately. If you think that your veteran status has caused you to be disadvantaged in some way, you can apply for DBE certification based upon that status, but it's your burden, it's your obligation to document how the veteran status has caused you to be disadvantaged as far as doing business.
It's also similar to the SDVOSB question. Does ODOT recognize WeBank certification?
ODOT does not, but if you're a woman, that's a category that qualifies for disadvantage. So it's not a reciprocal agreement. You would have to complete the DBE certification and just indicate that you're a woman, and that's the way that you qualify.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all the questions we have right now.
Okay. Just some ways about doing business with ODOT. ODOT is like the second largest state agency, so we have many, many ways to do business with ODOT. So I will just cover each area. I think it's about 5 areas in our PowerPoint here. And you can see if you fit in. So for construction, we have, see our ODOT internal staff. They do some of our work on our construction projects. So they fill some of the roles. And then for those that are not done internally, we put out bids, of course, and then the contractors and consultants, so those who build and do the construction of the projects are the contractors, and the consultants are those who design and plan projects, the blueprints and whatnot, and then qualified subcontractors. So the primes sub out to the smaller DBE, smaller contractors, and on our projects. So subcontractors have a huge role on our construction projects and on our design projects. And let's see, our ODOT highway projects, they may have DBE goals. So that's where federal funds comes into play. We also have SBE enterprise, which I didn't go over here, but the SBE certification is race neutral. You just have to be small, and we're using the SBA guidelines again to determine if you're small for your industry. And we have small set-aside projects for SBE certified firms. And these are just mini size projects of our big, large contracts. So we could ask for resurfacing of maybe a 2-mile stretch on the interstate highway. We could, SBE projects are also like bridge repairs. We see a lot of those, culvert, the underground drainage pipes, replacing those, removing those, or building some new ones. We've seen some safe routes to school. The roads around schools, we're trying to make it safe for the kiddos. So we have a couple of those as SBE set-aside projects. And the SBE set-aside projects are mainly on the construction side. We're working on beginning SBE projects on the design side or the consultant side, but for now it's construction related. And then we have edge goals for our projects as well. And let's see, all bidders who are primes, they must be pre-qualified, and that's a separate process from the DBE. So primes, unless you're DBE certified, primes are not DBEs, but a DBE certified can be a prime if they want to bid, if they have the expertise, if they have all the experience and they meet all the qualifications. A DBE can bid as a prime on our projects, but you must be pre-qualified. Again, that's a separate process. Prime contractors must perform 50% of the work. And then all prime and subs, they have to be enrolled in the BWC's drug-free safety program or comparable program approved by the BWC. So those are requirements for primes on our projects. And then we have 57 work types for our projects, and you see them listed here. Some of them require pre-qualification, others do not. So for instance, trucking companies, you don't have to be pre-qualified for ODOT work, but a good number of these here do require pre-qualification. So there's a link there on that tab to let you know where you can go to find out the exact pre-qualification requirements. And let's see, if you found a project, finding the project, how you can find a construction project. So we have what's called bid letting pamphlets. They are issued every 2 weeks bi-monthly, and it lists our projects and they go by date. So you'll have a particular date, you'll have a list of projects in that bid letting pamphlet, and you can go through them and see each one, the areas, what they entail, and if you can do the work. We also have an index of upcoming projects. We'll have a list of projects that go further out, at least a couple years out, so you can see what's coming up as well. And this is showing you an example of what's in the bid letting pamphlet when you go. So let me see if I can try to let you know. We're on the Doing Business tab when we look at for the projects on our Transportation.ODOT.BIL, Doing Business, and we go to contracts, and we go to bidding construction projects, and you can click on the bid letting pamphlet, or I like to go to the bidding documents where you can get all the documents listed in one screen to choose. So bidding documents listing, and then these are the dates of the letting. So we have, like, this is April 28th coming up. Go down a little bit further. So I don't think the plans are going to be up there yet for April 28th. We can try March 31st. That should be up. So you can see they're listed by county, the abbreviations for the counties. HAM is for Hamilton, Auglaize, Clinton, Cuyahoga. So you can look at the different types. So there's a sidewalk. This is major reconstruction, pavement marking, slide repair, sidewalk, intersection. So you see, just try to, there's a streetscape there in Cuyahoga County, and we can hit on these numbers here. Let's see, which one is this? This is a plan holders list. So for this particular project, you can see which primes have requested the plans, and they may have intentions on bidding on this particular project. So once we look into the project a little bit more to see the work types, and if you see you can handle the work types, then you can go to these prime contractors, introduce yourself, let them know the service you provide, and that you can provide that particular service on the project and can they let you know how to become registered with them, or their process for you to be able to be a sub to them. So the plan holders list is a good resource, great to let you see which primes are intending to bid on projects.
Lynn,
Sure.
this is Shonda. I have a quick question. Those
Oh, yeah.
that are DBE certified
Mhm.
and want to be primes, and you said they have to get pre-qualified, is there a list, the pre-qualification list, is it posted on your website? In anywhere, is that made public?
Oh, yes, on the same tab here where we went to bidding, pre-qualification and certification. So the same doing business with tab. And it lets you know we have the actual forms. We have our listing and rules that apply. We have the electronic system where you can log in, apply, renew, add some additional work types to your certification. Here's a list of those who are certified already. And then this is the consultant pre-qualification. So there's a separate process for the contractor construction companies, and then the consultants are the design companies, the engineering firms. So yes, but here's our pre-qualification page.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure, okay. And just going back here, the different ways you can look and see, we have a proposal, and then the plans is another column that's useful for the DBEs. So the proposal is where we can go to see different work types. Let's go for another date that's not as far out. 331 again. Let's see, streetscape. Okay, this is the proposals. Yeah, and then this icon here, the piece of paper, you click on that, and it'll allow you to open up the file. These are some pretty big files. These proposals, they can be 100, 200, 300, 400 pages, but this was 120, so it's one of the shorter ones, and it'll tell you what the DBE goal is right there on the front, the location, the project identification number, the project number, and then work type percentage performed by prime. So 30% of the work needs to be performed by the primes. But let's see, and they contain all the proposal notes. These are all the rules that are going to apply that you have to follow in if you're awarded this contract. And you just can scroll down, try and get to the work types. These are just all the proposals spelled out, proposal notes, all the instructions you have to adhere to, but you want to look at the work types that are involved. So here's the work types starting here. And this can go on for pages and pages, the work types. So clearing and grubbing. So if you do that, there's options for you. Pavement remove. So if you remove pavement and haul it away curbs, pipes need to be removed. Removal of existing streetscapes. So, underground storage tank needs to be removed. Catch basin needs to be removed. So you just go through all of these work types, and if you can do any of them, then you can, again, reach out to the primes on the plan holders list, let them know you can do that service, and see how and if you can become a registered vendor with them to provide that service.
And we've got a question.
Okay.
The company I work with is outside of construction. We're a video production and marketing agency. What opportunities would there be for our business type? We do provide training videos as well as aerial drone capabilities.
Oh, okay. That's going to be more our goods and services. So I'll touch on that here shortly.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Cool. All righty. So that is to show you what you'll see when you go to the proposal. So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to show you. Go down to the work types and make sure which ones you can do. And they have prevailing wage rates also in our proposals. So just lots of information there for you to, if you want to consider bidding on project. All righty. Okay, let's see. For construction, you found the project. What's next? Okay, so we just went over that. All the relevant columns that you want to look at. The actual plans, so those can be huge too. And if you need help or assistance, we have classes on how to read ODOT plans, because that's an important part too of doing business with ODOT. Prime contractors, the plan holders list. Just went over that, just went over that, just went over that. Addenda, any additions, you gotta stay up to speed on that. So you have to keep checking and make sure there's no addenda, but usually there's a email that goes out when addenda has been added to a particular project. So there's the plan, the icon page to look at the plans. Here's a title page of the plans, give you an example. Again, we have classes to help you learn how to read ODOT plans. There's also upcoming projects overview. Again, 2-year look ahead for projects. So that's an option. Local let projects also on the construction side is an opportunity. Those are smaller projects by the local agencies. Again, the cities, the counties, could be the townships as well. So they list their projects on our website as well. And there's the link there. And when you get to the link, you'll be able to see the current projects, the bid notices, and then the year. So you can click on the year and see upcoming projects. Again, this is for our local public agency. So these are be smaller projects. And then they do usually require pre-qualification. It depends on the industry. I was told they even have pre-qualification requirements for some trucking. So you have to check with the public agency to make sure which pre-qualification requirements they have on their projects. If so, you go through ODOT to do the pre-qualification process. So this is just an example of what you'll see if you click on the bid notices and then you click on the year. It'll show you the sponsoring agencies, so the county engineers. They do a lot of local led projects, bridge replacement, deck replacement, guardrail upgrade, replacement. So just a wide variety of services that are needed to maintain those local routes or state routes. SBE, again, this is just a set-aside program specific to ODOT, and the SBE projects, it's a race and gender neutral program. We, again, use the SBA size standards, but these projects are typically under 2 million, and then examples include culvert replacement, that's the underground drainage pipes, bridge replacement, repair, geotechnical design, and environmental consulting. So although we don't have the design side SBE projects yet, we're working on it. And those are some areas where we do intend to have SBE set aside projects in the future on the consulting side.
There's a question, as a labor arbiter, will I be able to find an arbitrator and or mediator work? I'm sorry, I said that wrong, arbitrator or mediator.
Yeah, we can put you in touch with our labor relations officers, our team there. That's a question we don't get often, and we don't really deal with the labor relations side, but we can definitely connect you with our labor relations officers in whichever district you're located. So if you're interested in that, we can give you a contact person and you can reach out to them and see. I do know they do most things internally, but there may be an opportunity where they have to contract out for some labor relations services. So we can get you connected to the right place. So.
Thank you. Okay, he just, please put me in touch. And then I think, Lynn, you put your contact information in the chat at the beginning, or Lorraine did. Okay. So Gary, you could reach out to Lorraine or Lynn, and they'll help get you started.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. And we do have a page on our website for SBE certification, that process. We have a directory, and then the set aside projects. Right now, we don't have any pending. I don't believe we won't have any until, I was told, June or so. But just an FYI, that's a certification also that ODOT offers and is specific to ODOT. Okay, consultant services, that's where our design firms. So ODOT, we manage a consultant selection process, and we send out requests for proposals to consultants and consultants. These are just some of the services that we contract out for, request services or bid out for: design of roadway, design of bridges, highway lighting, bicycle facilities, planning studies, environmental studies, bridge construction and inspection, surveying, mapping, right-of-way acquisition services, and task orders. And we issue our requests for proposals, so to speak, our requests for letters of interest, LOIs, through the programmatic that's issued 3 times a year, January, May, and September. And then we'll indicate which projects have DBE or EDGE goals, or we have DBE or EDGE development goals. That's where a prime consultant will mentor a smaller DBE or EDGE firm to help them increase their capacity to do work on ODOT projects. And then we also have SBE set aside goals in our programmatics. And then the primes and the sub consultants on the design side, they must be pre-qualified for their area of service that they offer. And on our website at the Doing Business tab, again, we have a page for consultant services. And this is where they have all the information. Susan Staley is our administrator, and here's staff. If you have particular questions, then we can see the programmatics where we list the bids. So you look at the programmatics, and it gives you the project description, a work description, the estimated construction cost, the name. Again, the county is abbreviated, so these are in Hancock counties: interchange, rehab, rehabilitation. Here's a geotech in ODOT District 2. Services are needed. Let's see. District 5 and 10, and task order for general engineering design services. That's an as needed service. So you apply or you submit a bid to be on the task order. And when you're on the task order, that's where our districts will go to look for firms. And then here's Franklin County. We have some projects on the far east, Route 70 coming up for design. And so on and so forth, the dollar amount, the value, and then I think the date is the sale date. So that would be when it's expected to go to construction. So the design date would be much prior to the construction date. So this is from coming up for our May programmatic. So these bids or LOIs, letters of interest, are going to be due sometime in May. So yeah, so that's how you find the design projects that are coming up. I just showed you that the different columns in the District 2. They'll point out the District 2. That's the first column. And facilities. So if you do construction on vertical buildings, you have an opportunity with ODOT as well. And most of our ODOT facility projects, if they're not in the bid letting pamphlet, because some may be for the smaller ones, but for the big, large projects, the OFCC, Ohio Facility Construction Commission administers those projects. So you would need to go to the ofcc.ohio.gov website and click on construction opportunities. And then you'll be able to see all the state agencies who have upcoming projects, and you'll be able to see those who have edge goals. And then also, because it's mostly edge goals on our vertical construction that will be applied, usually not DBE goals for the vertical construction. But give you an example of the facility projects. We can have renovation and replacement of headquarters in central office in Columbus, Ohio, or at our headquarters office in each district. We have our full service facilities throughout the state located, outposts located throughout the state, rest areas, salt barns, etc. So if you go to like the OFCC website, and again, it's construction opportunities. For whatever reason, this page always takes a minute to load. I don't know if it's just my computer or just generally, but opportunities tab, and then construction bids. So you can scroll down and see, well, we have one in Akron that's up here, the bid date. So that's going to be due on March 31st. And natural resources, historical town, agriculture. So you'll be able to read about each of these projects. You have a street outpost. Oh, this is a rebid, 218. So, but you'll be able to look at all the documents there. But that's where you find the ODOT facility projects through our OFCC partner.
Does a rebid mean that ODOT didn't find qualified contractors the first time around?
Yes, or it could have been they were all way overbid and they needed to bid out again. Yeah, so either no one bid or everyone bid and it's just too high.
Okay, thank you.
Oops. Okay. All right. So these are our procurement opportunities for goods and services. So we have ITBs, RFPs, RFIs, and then current purchasing project contracts. So this is where we would have examples of bid opportunities for those who provide goods and services. So this is also going to be on our Doing Business tab. I think I'm there already. All right. Yeah. Contracts. And instead of going to construction, we would go to procurement opportunities. And so again, ITBs, let's see what's here. So we have a small science support system coming up, central office lawn care services, District 6 lawn services, that's Columbus area, lawn care services, landscape services, liquid asphalt. So you would click on the actual invitation and see more about a description about the services that are needed. So that's the ITB tab, and then requests for proposals or requests for information. There's only 2 at this time. So road and weather information systems, repair and maintenance and repair service, Ohio Rural Automated Driving System Project. So if you provide any of those services, you can click on the tab to get more details. or our current, and this is where we would have like the consultant for like a special training, maybe they a district would like, or our central office would like a diversity and inclusion consultant or some kind of consulting services, then that would be on the invitations to bid tab. So that's where you can check periodically for that. Our current purchasing contracts, these are our existing contracts, and they are renewed every so often. And if you provide any of these services, you can click on, so like this is landscape services, but it's in District 11, so that's in Northeast Ohio. You can click on the actual left to see the bid document that has all the explanation of the services that are needed, or you can go all the way to the right and see who has the current contract, the pricing, so that if you want to consider submitting a bid in the future, you can see the pricing that ODOT is using currently, and if you can stay, within that pricing on your bid, it would just be helpful information for you. So you can see the vendors here. You have Green Acres, Lawn and Landscape, and they're up in New Philadelphia, so they're in that area. That's District 11, and then the pricing tab will show you what ODOT is paying for each of the items. And this is the price that they gave, and that was their winning bid price. So,
I got a question. Is there a place to find a list of current DBE organizations and their contact information?
oh, yes, that's our DBE directory. So let's see, we can go.
Oh, Lorraine just put it in there.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, our DBE directory. Yes, absolutely. And you'll be able to type in a name, or you can search different ways. But yeah, so you can click on that directory, and it'll show all the DBE certified firms, including those who are interstate from other states who are certified in Ohio. And you can choose by the work type, or by, see if I had something open where I could show you really quickly. It's going to be under our programs tab for business and economic opportunity. They handle all things related to our DBE program. And let's see, Unified Certification Program. We're going to get to the card that says DBE directory. So again, this is where the application is. We saw that earlier, but the directory. So we have the card for there, and you can type in the name of a firm, or you can go to the drop-down box and choose a category, type of service, or you can search by NAICS code if you know the NAICS code, or if you're looking for a particular NAICS code, and then you hit view report, and that's where the list will come up. So yeah, thanks for putting that in the chat, Lorraine. Let's see. What was that here? The PowerPoint. Okay. Oh, and I wanted to point out, ODOT has a specific set aside for MBE contracts, minority business enterprise. So that's our 800 series. So the next tab, we get to 800. So all of our 800 series are going to be MBE. You have to be MBE to bid on these. So aggregate, liquid asphalt, snow plows, quick setting concrete, mobile anti-icing, de-icing systems, central hydraulic systems, lawn care and mowing service, snow fence, live bottom dump bodies, etc., highway signs, crack and joint sealant. So those are opportunities for those who are DBE certified in these areas. You can submit bids to be added to the MBE contracts, and then We usually have some that have multiple vendors, and then you can apply to be a vendor on the contract. So this is for the asphalt, no aggregate. So we have multiple vendors there from throughout the state. So if you provide that, you can submit a bid. The award date was 3/7/2022. So that was just awarded. So you would have to wait until the bid is open again. Okay.
Would a requirement be MBE if it gets state funding? Is that why some of them have MBE and some of them, because I know DBE is Department of Transportation certification, and MBE is usually state or city.
Yes, yes, exactly. We can have MBE goals for our federally funded contracts as well. As like, for instance, we have, but mostly yes, it's state funded, yes, and we have a new MBE contract for our road salt. So if you can haul road salt, it's not like an MBE set aside, but there's an MBE component to it. That's our road salt contract. And rock salt right here. So we have vendors who are the prime vendors, so to speak. And then these prime vendors are supposed to have 5% of the hauling of the salt done by MBEs. So these vendors on our salt contract, and it's broken out by region. So if you do haul salt, maybe for next year, we can put you in touch, but we'll have to see. It's going to be rebid in May. So, but we usually have the same vendors over and over with exceptions here or there. One might not be in a particular year, but like American Rock Salt, Cargyle, Morton Salt, Compass, and we've had some other ones, Detroit Salt in the past, but they didn't bid for 2022. So this is another opportunity for MBE certified firms, but it's not an 800 contract. So this is the one contract that we have that has an MBE component, but yes, mostly funded by state dollars. Okay, so those are our purchasing contracts. We showed you that, and current contracts, MBE set aside, showed you that, and then the rock salt. And then here's another opportunity for goods and services through our Ion Wave. It's our internal ODOT specific e-quote system for purchases between 2,500 and 50,000. So they all have to be under 50,000. And so these are for, you don't need DBE, MBE, SBE, anything. These are just general market contract and can bid. Again, there's no DBE goals, no edge goals, no MBE, and no certifications needed to respond to bids, like no DBE, etc. So you would need to go to our ohioionwave.net, and you'll see this homepage, and then you can look at current bids, closed bids, awarded bids, non-awarded bids. And if you see some bids that you might be interested in, you can register as a supplier. And once you register as a supplier, you will begin getting emails for that particular service code that you entered during your registration process. And these are just some of the bids. This is from fall of 2021 examples: recycled stockpiled asphalt, portable sound system, gutters and downspouts, snow and ice training for LPAs, and calcium flakes. It's just a wide variety of contracts that you may see. The ionwave.net, and let's see if there's any other recent ones here.
So would you recommend this to contractors that might be new to government because these are smaller opportunities that don't require DBE certification? Do they have to prove that they're small in order to bid on these, or how does that, or do they have to be small?
Right. Nope. Don't have to be small. Don't have to fit into the size standards. And there's no threshold requirement, right? You can make however much money that you make. But yeah, and because it's such a wide variety, so I've seen things for even IT, like a little bit of software. I've seen that in the past, or we've had bicycle helmets. I've seen that before. Heating and cooling units, repair, parking lot paving repair at our different headquarters, seen that as well as cones, traffic cones, if there's a small order. And it's taking a minute. I'll let it think, and then I'll come back. But yes, so this would be ideal for those who are small, have smaller businesses, have a particular focus that you do provide. Painting is another thing I just thought about, painting at our buildings. So yes, and then once you click on the bid, it'll let you see more details about it, when it's due. It'll give you a contact person at the department who to contact with your questions before the bid due date. So you can reach out to that person and ask specific questions, which is very helpful. So this is a contract sewer camera. So if you provide cameras for sewers, opportunity for you. So just a wide variety. So it's probably best just to go ahead and register as a supplier if you provide any type of goods or service. And then again, you'll get automatic emails once you register when future bid opportunities come up in that category. And to do business with the state of Ohio, generally, as many of you know, you have to be registered through our shared services vendor so that you can get a Oaks ID number or Ohio ID number, which would allow you to be paid by all the state agencies. So you need to go to supplier.ohio.gov and go through the registration process to get that 8-digit identification number. And then I just spoke about the Ion Wave registration to get automatic emails if you provide like a good or service. It says excluding IT purchases, but I have seen some IT small purchases here in the past. This is saying that they're not the same registration, they're separate registration processes. All righty. And I wanted to just touch on, so that's doing business with ODOT, the various different ways. Wanted to just highlight the bipartisan infrastructure law. So I'm actually going to go to that website, and they have a page for each state where it says how the law could benefit each state. So I go to Ohio to point out some of the ways that Ohio may benefit from the infrastructure bill. Okay. So as you know, the infrastructure in all the states are suffering from some lack of investment, and everywhere across our United States, our infrastructure needs help. So let's see. So generally the bill will repair and rebuild our roads and bridges with a focus on climate change mitigation, resilience, equity, safety for all users, including cyclists and pedestrians. Based on formula funding alone, Ohio would expect to receive approximately $9.8 billion over 5 years in the federal highway formula funding for highways and bridges. So this is about 30.4% more than the state's federal aid highway formula funding under the current law. Ohio can also compete for bridge investment program, and Ohio can expect to receive approximately $215 million over 5 years in formula funding to reduce transportation-related emissions, and about $244 million over 5 years to increase the resilience of the transportation system. So helping to restore, build up, improve the safety of our transportation system. So overall, there's $13 billion to fix America's transportation systems, and also Safe Streets for All program. So improving the healthy, sustainable transportation options for all Americans. And again, based upon formula funding, Ohio can expect to receive about $1.4 billion over 5 years under the BIL to improve public transportation options across the state. So one of those options are building a network of electrical vehicle chargers to facilitate long distance travel and provide convenient charging stations throughout the state for the electrical vehicles. So there's funding for that. Ohio can expect to receive about $140 million over 5 years for the expansion of EV charging networks, and to modernize and expand passenger rail and improve freight rail efficiency. I know not too much, in Ohio, in Columbus, but we have the rails in other parts of the state. So let's see, $1.2 billion to eliminate the Amtrak maintenance backlog. So throughout the United States. On top of this, Ohio will be eligible to compete for $10 billion for rail improvement, safety grants, $5.5 billion for grade crossing safety improvements. Funding is also available for the nation's airports. So under the bill, Ohio airports would receive approximately $250 million for infrastructure development for airports over 5 years. And this will help address airside and landside needs at the airports, such as improving runways, taxiways, airport towers, terminal development projects, noise reduction projects. And then we'll have $5 billion in discretionary funding available for our airports to address the aging infrastructure across the nation, the airports. State and local governments can look forward to some grant opportunities as well in the bill, and just overall safe streets for all. So local tribal governments can support their efforts to advance Vision Zero plans and improve and reduce crashes and fatalities, especially for cyclists and pedestrians, to grants to support transportation projects for local and regional significance. So the locals can decide which are of significance. The infra grants, Infrastructure for Rebuilding America. And these grants are offered to offer aid to freight infrastructure by providing funding to state and local governments for projects of regional and national significance as relates to moving freight throughout the state. And then it raises the cap on multimodal projects to 30% of the program funds for those projects. And emissions, low and no emission bus programs. So there's $5.6 billion across the United States for purchases or lease of zero emission and low emission transit buses, as well as acquisition, construction, and leasing of required facilities. Also FTA buses in bus facility competitive program. So this provides funding to states and direct recipients to replace, rehabilitate, and repurchase buses and related equipment to construct bus-related facilities, including technology changes and innovations. And the overall goal is to, reduce or have no emissions vehicles. Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to see if we can put the link to the page you're on in the chat.
Oh, okay, sure.
Oh, that's easy. All right, you got it.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Capital investment to invest in new high capacity transit projects in communities, FAA terminal program, a discretionary grant program to provide funding for airport terminal development and other landside projects, mega projects. So this will be for like our downtown 7071 project, the big opportunity corridor project that is wrapping up in Cleveland. So big mega projects, some more funding for those projects. The protect, so promoting resilient operations for transformative, efficient, and cost-saving transportation program. So competitive grants to increase the resilience of our transportation system. This includes funding for evacuation routes, coastal resilience, making infrastructure more resilient, and efforts to move infrastructure to nearby locations not continuously impacted by extreme weather or natural disasters. Port infrastructure development program. So we have port authorities in Ohio and throughout the nation. So BIL overall doubles the level of investment in port infrastructure and waterways, helping strengthen our supply chain and to reduce pollution. The ferry program there for passenger ferry programs that serve urbanized areas. Electric or low emitting ferry program, support transition of passenger ferries to low or zero emission technologies. Rural ferry program for rural areas. See competitive grants for nationally significant bridges. So we have a couple of big bridges, the bridge between Cincinnati and Kentucky. The name escapes me, but the big bridge down there that could be eligible for this to rehabilitate or replace bridges, including culverts, large projects, and bundling of smaller bridge projects will be eligible. We can group some bridge projects together to get a big, large package. The funding to legacy transit and commuter rail authorities to upgrade existing stations and to meet the ADA requirements. The charging and fueling infrastructure discretionary grants, convenient charging. So that's the electrical vehicles again. Communities pilot program. That's the competitive program will provide dedicated funding to state and local governments to plan, design, demolish, reconstruct street grids, parks, or other infrastructure. Nationally significant federal lands. So rehabilitation of nationally significant projects. So I guess we can determine which ones Ohio considers a national significant project to apply for funding for that. The SMART program will be program competition that will deliver competitive grants to states, local governments, and tribes for projects that improve safety and efficiency. And then the Rural Surface Transportation Grant Program will improve and expand surface transportation and infrastructure in rural areas, increasing connectivity, improving safety and reliability of the movement of people and freight, and general regional economic growth. So that could be opportunities for our Appalachia areas of Ohio. So that's just a quick overview of the BIL Act and law and how Ohio can stand to benefit from it. FHWA says that the funds have not been allocated yet, approved by Congress. So that's what everyone is awaiting. And as soon as that passes Congress, then we'll be able to get the money flowing to the states so that the DOTs can start submitting grants, plans, et cetera. So lots of good upcoming projects. So that's going to be a flood of money into Ohio and to all of the states across the United States. So any DBE that's interested in being able to help in any of those areas, if you're not DBE certified, looking to getting DBE certified, and then getting connected with prime contractors who are already working in Ohio would be a good first step for you to do. And you can reach out to any of our outreach managers to be connected to our prime contractors. And then just to wrap up here, just ways that you can stay in contact, keep abreast of updates from our ODI division. At that page there, you'll be able to sign up for our newsletter. You can check which region you're in. And if you want to receive the newsletter, we do it once a month, and we put updates for each region or events we're having. And then connecting with CEI is our DBE supportive services. So if you are DBE certified and want more support in doing business with ODOT, capability statements, building your website, how to submit bids, putting a bid together, meeting with prime contractors, CEI can help with that. So we work with CEI, we, the outreach department, division office, work with CEI. We're beginning to partner with them on some events, but we both can serve as a resource to our DBEs. And again, here is the map of everyone. And I think that's it. So great. You'll
All
get a
right,
copy
thank
of
you.
the PowerPoint.
Nice
thank you.
job.
Thank
That
you.
was a lot of information.
Ooh. So
But
sorry.
I feel like I learn something every time I hear your presentation. So that's hopefully everyone was able to take good notes. Does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure. We had someone that wrote in Brent Spence.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I was trying to remember.
Okay.
Brent Spence Bridge, the big bridge. Yeah.
Oh, that's the name of the bridge. Okay. And that, I
Mhm.
thought that was interesting. I didn't know that was Ohio's bridge. And how does that work when it's a border state or a border bridge?
Yeah, it's shared. Yeah, actually, Kentucky and Ohio. So yeah.
But at the halfway mark, like
shared.
if they cross once they're over state lines, it's then Kentucky's.
Well, yeah, because most of it is within the Ohio River. So, I mean, it's both kind of equally almost, but yeah, the parts that's in Kentucky, they would handle, and then the part that's in Ohio, we would handle. But that part over the water is like a joint effort, really almost 50-50, you share responsibility. So,
Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's also cool. It's neat to see what ODOT buys, like a lot of salt and a lot of culverts and what about IT? Yeah, you mentioned IT services, but would that fall under certainly they do buy IT services. We get a lot of IT firms. But
that's our IT augmentation project contract rather. So let me see. The IT staff augmentation contract. And this is if you wanted to provide some IT services. You can become a registered vendor with, who's the vendor now? Changed from,
now, is that through the state? It is through the state. Okay, so, okay, ODOT buys IT services through this state
contract. Yes.
Okay.
State contract. And who is our vendor? OHIT.
And then we have a question, how soon will this be posted for us to watch again? It'll be posted on the OUPTAC website, and that takes about a week. I believe Jane put the link to the OUPTAC site at the beginning of the chat, but Jane, can you put that in again, please? Can you give more information on the ACDBE certification?
Well, if you're interested in doing business with an airport, any airport in Ohio or anywhere throughout the United States, if you're inside the terminal, providing the service inside the terminal, then you would need to be ACDBE, because they put DBE goals on their projects as well. So there could be a DBE goal on something inside the terminal as well as outside. So for inside, that's where the ACDBE certification falls into place. So a vending machine, a restaurant, a newsstand, any of the portable carts, again, the signage, lighting. They may have some improvement projects too on the inside of the airport. So you would reach out to the airport after you're ACDBE certified, or even before, to let them know about your service that you provide, and just see if ACDBE certification would benefit you. So maybe touch base with your airport. You can reach out to one of the outreach managers, and we can let you know our contacts at our local airports as well. So just reaching out and finding out if ACDBE certification will benefit you might be a good way to start before you go through the whole process of being ACDBE certified. So yeah, I hope that if you like provide work on the outside, like you do construction, then you just get regular DBE certification because they use just traditionally certified DBE companies for their services to construction on the outside of the airport. So, but the airport can explain to you as well. If you reach out to them, they can let you know the difference. But so I hope that
Great.
answers your question for now.
She said, thank you.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
All right. I don't see anyone else. Does anyone else have a question right now? Okay. Well, I want to say thank you very much again to Lynn Stevens and to Lorraine Stevens. So it's always great when we can work in partnership. Next week, if you're interested in federal government certifications, on March 25th, we're going to do a webinar on the SBA contracting certification. So that includes 8A, HubZone, so woman-owned, and just briefly on service-disabled veteran-owned. So
Bill,
yes,
actually, it'll be on Thursday, March 24th.
that's what I meant. See, Shonda, you just got to keep me on target there. I knew it was one of the 20s in March. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So if you enjoyed this presentation, you'll get to hear us again next week. But no, thank you so much, Lynn. And also, I wanted to let everyone know that the Ohio Business Matchmaker is back. It's going to be in person this year on the 13th and 14th of July at the Nutter Center. So I know that the Department of Transportation, we talked to them about that yesterday, and they are going to work to be available for that event. So I don't see any other questions, so I think that we can go ahead and adjourn for today.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lynn. Nice job. Yeah, like I said, it was a lot of information. Very good.